Let's take a look at the incident report task and what kind of information you can get from there. This task is located in the Investigations section of the home page from the Security desk. Make sure you're not confusing it with the Incidents task, even though they have the same icon. This task is used for another feature in Security Center that is not related to Mission Control. The Incident Report interface should look pretty familiar at this point. You have your incident list on top, with similar columns to what we're used to seeing in the Incident Monitoring task, the Details pane on the side, and the standard look for the report filters on the left. If you need to add any columns to the list, such as any additional fields that are in use by your incidents, you can right-click on a column header and choose the Select Columns option. The main difference here is that the map has been replaced with a tile canvas. If you need to change the tile pattern, you can do so using the button on the bottom here, just like the monitoring task. Using tiles mean you can select multiple incidents to investigate and switch between them very quickly. The Details pane will update with the details of the incident in the tile that has been selected. In the Filters list, you can choose to filter based on the unique incident number or ID, the type of incident or name, and other incident properties. You can also choose the time frame from when it was triggered, either going back a certain amount of time until now, or a specific range of dates and times. You can also search based on the response and resolution times, including any TTR events that have not been respected. These will only be present if a limit was configured for an incident type. The second to last filter is for anyone who is creating incidents and is using the testing mode to see if they are working. These types of incidents do not normally show up in your incident list. Below that is where you can add a filter based on any additional fields that have been added to the system. Click on the Add Additional Field option to add a filter for one additional field, then select the field you wish to use, and set the filter parameters. The options here will change depending on the type of field selected. For example, a numeric field will let you look for anything greater than a value, less than a value, equal to a value, and other options like that. Once you have set up the filters for the incidents you want to see, click on the Generate Report button on the bottom of the list. Note that below the filters you also have a tab to see the area view. So if you need to watch video from a specific camera, you can drag it into a tile from the area view. Next to the Change Tile Pattern button, you also have a Synchronize Video button, so any cameras that are playing in tiles will all play from the same date and time. The Details pane also has the General tab so you can see the widgets for the type of entity you're looking at, like the camera or door controls. One important thing to note here is the list that's populated on top is a static list of incidents from when you clicked on the Generate Report button, and not a dynamic list like you see in the Incident Monitoring task. If you have filters set to only see new and in-progress incidents from within the last 2 days, and someone opens a new incident after you clicked on the Generate Report button, you won't see it added to the list until you hit Generate Report again. Once you have your list of incidents generated on top, you can drag them down into the tiles. The tile that's highlighted will show the details of that incident in the Details pane, and you can still interact with this incident. For active incidents, which are ones that are not in the closed state, you can do pretty much everything you can from the Incident Monitoring task. If you want to use the menu to do things like changing the state or forwarding to another user, you'll have to use the menu at the bottom of the Details pane. The right-click menu on the pin or list is not enabled in the report task, but the regular map functions are still present for map objects. For closed incidents, there's very little that you can do, and they're mostly used for review purposes. For example, you can add a comment in the Latest Activities section, link to a related incident, and attach a link to a document, but you're unable to do things like modify procedure steps, change the priority, or link a related entity. If you're less concerned about looking at individual incident details but want to see a summary of some information from it, you can change from the Tile view to Chart view. Click on the Chart icon on the top right to go into Chart view. The Tile view icon is right next to it in case you want to go back to that view. Switching to the Chart view will remove the tiles in the Details pane and will give you a line chart of your top 10 total incidents by default. Use the top right menu to change the type of chart shown and the options next to it to configure specific settings for the chart. If your chart has more than one axis or sort criteria, you will see a drop-down menu where you can choose what to see for that axis or how to split up the totals and how many entries to show for it. For example, if I change my chart type to a stacked columns chart, my x-axis can show the different types of incidents and the y-axis can be my total. If I want to see more information, I can click on the Split By menu and choose Priority. Now I can see how many list entries I have for each incident type, and that total is broken down into the number in each priority.